crazy.
That's 10 years. With 2000, we're almost in 2020, yeah. So just when we were about to enter sixth form, like 2010, 2011 time, and since basically our teenage adolescence going into now, and we're still sitting with this man.
And Drake is...
And then the other side of us has been torn apart with Ed Sheeran through Divide, you know. Like, if it wasn't enough already.
Oh,
Mate, that speaks... Do you know what? Yeah, you know I deep this shit. That speaks volumes to me.
That's crazy numbers. Like, no other artist in the last decade...
J. Cole is still 9, you know. I looked the other day. J. Cole is still 9th.
Do you want to hear them? Do you want to know what the number is?
Yeah.
Drake is leading for the last 10 years. He has with over 28 billion global streams. Global,
Jesus Christ.
28 billion.
Bruv, I feel like if I mention it to a dog might just like wag his tail on the name of like Drake, you know. Damn.
I don't even know what the numbers are, what this looks like, but like...
It's I find it troubling.
No other artist has been as listened to as Drake in the last 10 years.
But why do you think that is?
Because he has a song for everything, Minnie.
And so does Ed.
Yeah, but Drake...
But Ed's got songs that each song can be replayed.
Yeah,
whereas
of
Drake's
course.
got the genre for everything in like terms of every beat he makes. Like, he's like, don't worry, I got everything covered.
Like, it's not even beat. Like, it's a beat. Like,
No,
any
like,
beat that
each
he
song,
jumps on, everything. Literally, like, he can be like... I don't know, like, to say, like, there's some Calypso Latin song could be out and Drake drops a verse on it. Now Latin music's blowing up. You're like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah, no, do you know what? Yeah, I get that.
Like, it's not like, it's a thing where, like, do you know most artists, they'll do a genre, but they'll do a genre in a way like where, like, for example, where, what's his name, Chris Brown, when he done his pop album, he done like 20-30 tracks of all pop. Like, he was like getting pop out of his system. He was like, guys, I'm done. I'm done. Like, this is like, I've taken over pop for this moment. Like, this is it. I'm done. And the next time he dropped an album, it was another like 20 track album, and he had like bare songs, and it was just of a set genre. Like, but like, or like, there's Kanye West, he's just done his gospel album, and Snoop Dogg, he's done a gospel album, and he's done a reggae album, and no, Drake doesn't do none of that. He'll just do that one song, and it will blow.
But then, do you think that's what they're waiting for? Like, that one song? Like,
I don't know. It's just like he can make you go. When
did he last have an album out, Drake? When was last? Do you know what? Yeah, where's my phone? Hey Google. I'm getting there.
I'm just.
When did Drake's last album come out? Oh, did you hear me? When did Drake's last album come out? Oh, she's not gonna get that one.
Where's this?
According to Pitchfork, Drake's last album, Scorpion, was released in 2018.
2018.
Thanks, B. 2018. So that's.
I mean, it's last year. That's what I mean. But for literally this whole year, he hasn't really released much. I think he re-released the whole package of songs.
But I feel like he's not the only one that went off the scene, man. Bare people have been
off the scene. But I think it's.
But to change momentum, though, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Ed came back with Stormzy. Like, he's like, he's my best buddy.
But then also, I think we need to like kind of also understand that. For these musicians, releasing songs, that's their job. So, like, if they have maybe a year out, maybe they're just taking a break, or maybe they're just doing other things. Because, like for us, oh shit, for us, like, it would just be like, I need a break now. I'll take a week off and I'll just do other things, you know what I mean? So it's just...
But whereas for artists, they have to keep producing.
Yeah.
But, that's something that's echoed throughout the entire 2019 year, where the idea of break and what it's actually meant, and, like, people actually just saying, hey, man, it's not even, like, a timeout, but it's actually gotten too much.
Yeah.
It's all right, because what was it? The song that got to me was Leave Me Alone by NF. the video is a visual of its own, but he's actually saying that when I go off, you guys all wonder, but then when I come back with that one track, you guys are like, preach. And is that what you guys want? Then that's what I'll do, I'll set it according to my own scene, my own zone, and because I know you guys are still there. 10 years later, man's fandom is still there, and I'm like, you're still number one, mate. You could be sleeping for 3 years, and you could still be number one when you wake up.
Like, people hate Drake. I hate Drake.
I've loved hate Drake.
Like, I mean, I hate him in the sense that I like his music in the sense that he makes good songs for every mood in it. I can't, like, sit here and say that I listen to One Dance with a frown.
Yeah, gosh, dude. I've got history with that dance song, Don, sorry. I've got, yeah.
I can't say that.
One dance, got a Hennessy in my hand.
I can't say that I hear Hotline Bling and it doesn't make me want to dance. Like,
yeah. Oh my God, yeah, gosh.
Come on.
These songs, man, like, apart from, let's not talk about the song, like the dance he does in there. Yeah, that's just fucking hilarious.
But that's what I mean. Like, he may not write his own songs, but in the industry, that's not uncommon thing for teams of writers to write a song. Like you would be surprised about how many artists that don't write their songs and they pass songs off that they've bought.
They have brought, that's true.
And they pass it off as their own.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, the wrong part of it would be if someone passes off a song of their own without credit. But if you've sat in the back room and you've actually spoken to an entire team about how an entire concept was going to come about, does that mean everyone that was not in the video or like in the music was not represented? Like, you've got to think about those two things, isn't it?
Because it's interesting when you read, like, maybe I read it on Wikipedia, because you can see like all the writers and everyone who's involved in the song, and like there's very few tracks where you'll go through and you'll just see one person.
That's true.
And like, even if you want to go back to ghostwriting, back in the day, what's his name? P. Diddy is not a rapper. P. Diddy has had ghostwriters from day, and he said that he's had ghostwriters. So and you know what I mean. And he
said it out loud himself.
Like, he knows he's not the greatest, but he has, because of how he is, like his charisma and his character, and the way how he delivers words, he's able to pull it off as if it is his own words, like any other good person that is taking a speech can do. But like, that's not to say that he's any less of an artist because he has had someone else write it for him.
Agreed. Do you know what? Nicki Minaj says that out in a statement in an interview, like in a podcast interview. Actually, it's actually bare jokes when you watch it, because like you can see the man is like stupid, like the one interviewing her, and she's barely giving him attention. But she goes, I'm the artist that writes all my lyrics, and I'll be careful to make sure I mention that, especially because I worked really hard to get those lyrics for myself. Now, if I see someone toy with that and then take credit for it, then she goes, of course I'm going to speak up. But she goes, does that mean I have not written lyrics for people? She goes, of course I have. She goes, I've had my boys that I've helped out in the industry get to this stage. I think she mentioned 21 Savage, I could be wrong. She goes, people have, or Travis, one of them, and she goes, I've helped to get here. She goes, you think that we've not been on the phone and we've not exchanged lyrics?
Yeah.
She's like, of course we have. She goes, but that's their song. That's the level they're at. But if they forget me today, she goes, that's the game changer.
Yeah.
So that's what we forget, innit? Like, once we hear the beat and it drops, we forget who's been sitting in the background that's helping develop it. A song that comes out in today's volume today, is actually a piece of art. Do you see what I mean?
That's what I mean.
And taking Stormzy's words, he says, before I used to think every sentence was important, but now I think every word is important when it comes out. So when you see something like that, it adds up. It adds up that, listen, there is a creative team behind things like this, and everyone is sitting there. Doesn't mean like not everyone's getting the credit for it. That's where Drake, I don't know enough to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to tell you on that one. But he's without doubt, I give him credit for what he does.
Yeah, man.
Like,
every vibe that
SNL did change my perspective a little bit about Drake, not gonna lie. It did. When I saw the man being Jewish in a Jewish household, like, it made me wonder. Like, he just genuinely, and then when he spoke about that on Ellen's show, he actually said, no, I just wanted to be like vibe with my roots, to show my Jewishness, and like I'm actually like, you know, Canada is my roots and stuff. This is what I represent, and this is what I am. And you know what, he speaks like this, nodding his head and shaking his hands around, and that's what they're all about. And if that's what they're about, give them some credit as artists. If these are people that are changing generations, to show what they're worth and what they're capable of, and for that, you can't always be on the scene, because otherwise that means you're working on the scene and behind the scene. And when you finish working behind the scene, you're working on the next scene. That's like when back in the days bands used to go on tours.
Yeah.
One tour ends, you're already signed up for the entire year. You ain't seen your family for the entire year. You got to think about these things, innit? Oh.
And it's like, staying on the topic of Drake, only for this one last point of the fact of, I rate him for the thing that he did with Top Boy. And it's just the fact of it was Channel 4 cancelled it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Drake's helping endorse and bring it up, then they might not have got the connection. I'm not sure fully how.
What did he do? What did Drake do?
Because he's involved in the project. I think he's a producer in the project.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
He's helped funded it and stuff like that. So
okay, I didn't know that.
And then it's on Netflix now for this for the third season that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure fully Drake's hand in it, but I'm pretty sure he is a producer. I know that he's not. I think I remember hearing something or reading something where they said that, I think Ashley Waters said that they made the choice not to have him in the actual series because of just because he's Drake. Like, they kind of used his guidance within the scene, and
I zoned out for one split second. Like, literally, it's completely. What is the topic that we're on? Are we on Blue Story?
We can move on to Blue Story.
No.
After
But
this.
what was it? That
I was just talking about Top Boy.
Top Boy. That's it. Sorry. I had Blue Story in my head. That's why I was like, I was like, I get the story, but I was like, why have I got Blue Story? Got it. Carry on.
No. That was pretty much the end. Just the fact that he's made the partnership with Top Boy and he's helped bring it up with the culture, because that could have been lost, you know. And that's something that I think more people need to see, that is not just a hood TV show about hood life. There's like deeper elements to the story and what they actually explore, and that's why it's such a big hit, because of what they explore and what they go through and what they touch on.
Do you know what? When you watch Drake one-on-one interviews in like some really rare sessions, but you hear him really talk, he actually does speak really well about these things. Yeah. And for some strange reason, and I actually do love this, and it's not patriotic, I think, or a form of like a national way of showing it, but he always says, he goes, I'm actually from a very free land. And he always says Canada. And I was like, you've got to give him that. You have to give him that. And that links to like the roots of what, do you know Top Boy?
Yeah. And
where he finds his connection over there. And if he wants to form an affiliation, that's a man like Drake reaching out for something like that. And that investment is not just because it's financial and it's just actually like the person he is. It's actually because when he heard about it or when he saw it or whatever it was in the background and he wanted to get involved, I feel like someone like Drake actually connected to it on a personal level. And for that, an artist like, I didn't know this, I would give someone credit for something like that. I'd be like, you've stepped on the scene for more reasons than just what you as a vessel is an input for, you know? And Top Boy is, as we know, Top Boy Blue Story is like way more relevant than that.
But then it's also interesting if we're touching on the idea of kind of relating through culture. Because remember we went to that exhibition at the Tate?
Yeah.
With my friend Karina Fernandez was talking.
Yeah.
And she's from Rotterdam, and they were doing this kind of project where they were exploring life in London and life in Rotterdam, and how it was not so dissimilar in kind of the connections that we had. And they found that the center point was that the idea of the corner shop being the kind of the center point of where people meet up and find things, and like the idea of the drink, of connecting people and stuff like that. And what was it? Break, build.
What was it? Yeah, create. No, was it create?
Create, break, rebuild. Break, rebuild.
there was one more, I can't remember the third one, but it was build, create or recreate.
Yeah.